The investment is made possible with support from UPS, helping businesses with their shipping and distribution needs. From figuring it out to getting it done. Learn more at ups.com. Ben Franklin Technology Partners, providing capital, business support services, and Techcelerator boot camps to help entrepreneurs get from startup to up and running. Information at cnp.benfranklin.org. Everett Cash Mutual Insurance Company, a property and casualty insurance company serving the agricultural and business community for over 100 years. NPC, creating career opportunities for people who want to build something, lead something, or make something better. Learn more at npcweb.com. Ulysne Financial Communications and Strategy, helping clients acquire, develop, and retain assets through the use of effective marketing and communications. More at ulysne.com. And from viewers like you. Thank you.
Investment breeds innovation, and an innovative idea can change the world. Penn State, along with its PennTap US EDA University Center, is committed to engaging with young student entrepreneurs. Through the IncU competition, they'll award a total of $30,000 to advanced student-owned companies. These teams from across the Penn State campus system will compete to impress a panel of judges with their unique ideas. Each team will have a chance to pitch the panel and see if they can stand up to the judges' scrutiny. The competition will be intense, and the money will be given to the team or teams most prepared to turn their idea into a viable product. The judges are waiting. The teams are ready. This is The Investment. Our judges come from all corners of the business and entrepreneurial world. Beverly Wise is People and Culture Director at 10,000 Villages. Brian Scott is CEO of Pitt Moss, an organic gardening company. Melissa SCHIPKE is founder and CEO of Tassel, a company dedicated to building technologies that strengthen alumni networks. Brian Harmon is an advisor and consultant to several cyber startups. Those are the judges. Now it's time for our teams to impress them. Our first team is Hardwired.
My name is Robert Zygmunt, and I am a political science major at Penn State Abington. I've always been interested in the way things work. I was interested in virtual reality, and so I decided to try to build my own high-performance computer, and that was really where I got the idea for Hardwired, to create an online service that offers custom-built high-performance computers for everything from virtual reality to gaming to Bitcoin mining. Each system is tailored to that customer's specific requirements and purpose, so it can really do anything, and the only limits for a customer coming to Hardwired is their budget and their imagination. Winning the competition would be wonderful, and I'd obviously be very excited, and I'd plan to use any of the money that I would be fortunate enough to win to purchase additional tools for the business, do a very advanced online marketing campaign, and also expand the business to include a direct focus on upgrades so that I'm able to handle new and old customers. A lot of my business interests are really the hobbies that I was already doing outside of school anyway. Ultimately, that is the ultimate dream, is to be able to do what you love to do and have that actually sustain itself and sustain you. So I just picked up this cardboard virtual reality headset that you put your phone into, and I've been told this is the most affordable, most immersive experience available. So let's see if it really feels like I'm on a roller coaster. Whee! I guess I expected more from $30 of cardboard. Now, I'd love to be able to use the HTC Vive, but I've heard you need a high-performance computer to even run that thing, and where am I going to get a custom, high-performance computer built with quality parts, all at a reasonable price? I think I heard of a company called Hardwired. So I guess I can throw this in the recycling. Hi, my name is Robert Zygmunt, and I am here to ask for $10,000 for my high-performance custom PC build business, Hardwired. With emerging technologies like virtual reality, augmented reality, the advancement of cryptocurrency, and new video formats like 4K and even 8K video, we are truly witnessing the renaissance of the high-performance PC. Over the years, I have accumulated a large supply of tools, so that when things break or stop working, I can fix them instead of just throwing them away. And one of those tools is this, the anti-static wrist strap. When you're working on a computer, you put one end on your wrist and you attach the other end to the case so that static electricity doesn't build up in your hands and fry the sensitive components you're working on. Previously, the only way to get a high-performance PC was to go to a big box retail store like Best Buy and purchase one for around $1,500. So instead, I decided to try to research and build my own computer for around half of that price. The problem with the retail store method is you're getting expensive computers made with inferior quality parts. The PC gaming industry is currently worth $36 billion, and the virtual reality market should reach $40 billion by 2020. The way my business works is customers contact me, I talk with them and build a system specifically for them, designing it for each individual customer. I take payment, order the parts, build and deliver the system. If I am fortunate enough to win any of the money in this competition, I would use it to launch a formal marketing campaign, purchase additional tools, and expand the business to include a direct focus on upgrades down the line, and attend national conventions that are centered around technology. A custom, high-performance PC build business for any design and any budget. Shipped in a box, right to your door. Hardwired. What's in your box?
Thanks so much, Robert, for coming here today. I'm curious a little bit around how you're going to build that customer pipeline in more detail, and what's the target amount of customers you're looking to achieve in year one?
Sure. So primarily right now we're focusing on the gaming market and the virtual reality market because those two are kind of still, in the virtual reality case, it's in its infancy still, so there's a lot of demand right now for high-performance systems to be able to run that, both in the research sector but also in the entertainment sector. For the gaming market, I often hear people say that they would love to build their own computer, they don't like the prices at places like Best Buy or online, but they just don't know how to do it. So we're focusing on that right now, and that's kind of why I want to attend a lot of national conventions and be face-to-face with the first few customers to be able to kind of create an engaged customer base.
What happens if this really takes off, especially through your marketing campaign? Is it just you that's doing this? How would you meet that demand?
So starting off, it is just me right now, but basically what I would like to do next is create a network of vetted professionals who have the same passion for this that I do, and that I can verify their skill level is going to produce the same brand. So somewhat like a referral network, except a bit more close-knit.
So can you talk a little bit more about your supply chain, where you get parts from, and how you need to or are able to scale that from a pricing perspective?
Right now, our supplier we're talking with is Outlet PC. They normally sell only to consumers, but they have a business wholesale program that allows for components from just regular cases, but down to everything like the battery that sometimes goes out in the motherboard. And you can order either in bulk or just one item, and it's a discounted wholesale price, so that will scale with my business as it grows.
What about other online companies like Digital Storm, Zydax, or iBuyPower?
So the three online competitors that are the biggest threat right now are Zydax, Origin PC, and Digital Storm, and also iBuyPower PC. The problem with these places, although they advertise themselves as custom PC places, is you're really not getting much customization. There's really no flexibility, and the level of customization is mostly just aesthetic. Here, of the thousands of items available on the market, I can put anything in a system.
So what's the difference in cost between what they would purchase from a store like that versus you?
So a retail store, you're looking at almost double. Their cost is, so if I built a system for $800, they normally sell it for $1,500.
And how much time does it take to custom build this, and how much money are you making after the cost of parts?
It takes about 3 hours for me to build a system. That's around the time that it takes. For more advanced systems, maybe 6 hours, but I do it in a day. From the time that the system has been requested, the turnaround is less than a week to delivery.
And how much are you making?
I charge for labor only right now, so it's minimum $225 profit on a very basic system. And if I were to do more advanced systems, that would increase, but only labor cost, and that makes quite a bit of money.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
It's more like a relationship and a cult following. You get the first, 30, 50, 100 customers, and then keep focusing on them and remarketing to them. And
He has that one vendor. I just wonder if he could lower his cost and diversify in case there's supply problems with one vendor. Yeah.
I thought they reacted really well. They seemed to understand what I was talking about and understand why the product was so needed in the marketplace.
Our second team is Eunice Brands.
My name is Nicholas Eunice. I'm currently in the Smeal College of Business studying finance and accounting in the MAC program. Eunice Brands really kind of ties in three things that I love: art, design, and technology. Back in 2014, I was buying and selling Nike and Jordan shoes, so I moved into customizing. We would do material swaps, different color swaps, and we got a nice cease of assist letter from Nike. From there, I found out that I really wanted to make my own shoe. The first part was the printer. How can I kind of take different aspects and bring them together to make a printer that would work? One of the biggest barriers to get over is most people seem to think that when you say 3D printing, you're thinking of a hard piece of plastic. Based on our printing, we can get anywhere from a hard rubber feel to a fabric feel. So as a customer, you're able to log on to unicebrands.com. You put in the length and width of your left foot as well as the length and width of your right foot. From there, you're able to fully customize that model, and then the model is 3D printed 24 to 72 hours after you ordered and shipped. Success to me would be someone that would be able to order the shoe and they would feel like their style and personality is in what they're wearing. That's really kind of what drives my passion, is the fact that I can have the technology, the art, and the design all together, and it's interesting every day what we can do and how we can change. Hello, my name is Nicholas Eunice, and I'm the CEO and founder of Eunice Brands. Now, I started Eunice Brands back in 2014. Buying and selling major brand shoes such as Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Now, as this market got larger and oversaturated, I decided I wanted to create my own footwear. And the best way I found to do that was with 3D printing technology. Now, there were a few hurdles along the way. The first hurdle was finding a 3D printer capable of printing in a flexible filament at a high quality and consistency, and I couldn't. So I made one, which is this printer right here. The second hurdle was size. Eunice Brands has a patent-pending sizing algorithm that takes the length and width of your left foot as well as the length and width of your right foot to create a fully custom-fit piece of footwear that fits you perfectly. Now, as the customer, you would log on to unicebrands.com. We will have a printout that you could step on to help you with sizing, as well as directions on the webpage to help you with that. You enter your 4 dimensions of fit onto the website. From there, you are able to customize a 3D rendering of the shoe as far as colors and graphics, and your shoe will ship 24 to 72 hours from the time of order. Eunice Brands is comparable in price as well as durability to shoes of today. Now, 2 really neat aspects of Eunice Brands is our eco footprint as well as our packaging. Eunice Brands footwear is 100% recyclable, and customers will be able to send in their shoes to be recycled, in which they will receive a discount off future purchases. Now, with the packaging, compared to packaging in a shoe box, they will be packaged in a branded duffel bag, as this is very price accurate between the two. Eunice Brands is currently working with 2 Penn State engineering teams to further the process of 3D printing, as well as working on the printing parameters. We are set to open our first facility right outside of Pittsburgh with 1,700 square feet and 25 3D printers. We will have 2 shoes to launch to begin with. The first shoe will be a 2-strap sandal, and the second shoe will be a 1-strap sandal. Eunice Brands is seeking $20,000 to build printer infrastructure as well as build material. $15,000 of that $20,000 will be going towards 25 3D printers, and $5,000 of that will be going towards filament for the printers. Thank you, and I'd now like to open it up to any comments and/or questions you may have.
Yeah, so my first question is, how do you manage the correct fit in terms of arch support in particular, things beyond just length and width?
So as a customer, there will be 3 options that you could choose from: no arch, medium arch, or high arch. So that'll be completely up to the customer.
Are there any other fit parameters that you can use?
Not currently.
What made you decide to start with the sandal, the strap sandal versus the sneakers?
The minimal viable product. So that is something we could produce at a high quality and consistency, as well as get out right now. And we plan to release the sneakers, which I am wearing a prototype version right now, 2 months after the initial release of the sandals.
Nick, you mentioned that 100% is produced by the printer. What about the insoles of the sneakers?
So the insoles, as well as the very bottom hard rubber sole, is the only portion of the shoe that is not 3D printed.
Okay, and just to follow up, what kind of testing and research has been done for the durability?
So as far as durability, we have 4 beta testers so far, and by the end of April, we plan to have another 20 beta testers that will be wearing them. They will be wearing them for a month straight and giving daily feedback. And that a part of that is they get to keep the footwear at the end. And they have to send pictures and data back to us. And that'll be through actually paid Instagram ads is how we will plan to attract them.
And you mentioned kind of pricing is going to align with the traditional pricing in the shoe industry. And so I've personally bought shoes that range anywhere from $200 to way more than that. So where do you kind of fall in that range?
So the 2-strap sandal will be $140 to start, and I can actually pass that around if you guys kind of wanted to see it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And this is a very nearly finished product. So other than some tweaking, that is very close to the finished product.
There's some roughness on this. Is there any finishing process
Yes.
that you do as well?
Yes, so the engineers currently are working on chemical baths that you would put that in to fully finish it to the point where you really wouldn't even almost be able to tell.
What happens if the customers get the shoes and they don't like, since they haven't been able to go to a store and actually try it on? And
So we will have a return policy where we could send them back. And the one neat thing is because they're 100% recyclable, there's very little cost that we're losing as we can just melt the shoe down and reuse it.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
The idea that he's building his own printer, keeps his costs down, that sort of thing, at least on the equipment side.
Specific numbers, and they can. So I think
Wear and tear on the shoe.
more investment in the research side of durability would be appropriate.
I think it went okay. I'm always a little pessimistic when it comes to pitching. I'm hoping I did the best that I can, and I put as much passion into it as I can, and I really love my product, and I hope that that really showed today.
Our third team is Trimatis LLC.
My name is Jason Lear. I'm a mechanical engineer major.
My name's Tito Emmanuel Orji. I'm an electrical mechanical engineering major here at Berks campus. It all started with an internship over the summer. What we have to do is we pick up plastic trash and waste. We are picking up bunches and just a lot of bags. And I was just like, this needs to be recycled or renewed in some type of way.
I use 3D printing a lot through research. When you print a design and that design doesn't work out, you have to throw that print out. After doing this several times, I realized how wasteful this was and how 3D printing should be more sustainable. This led to the idea about using plastic bottles to create filament.
Trimatis is a process. What we're doing is that we're collecting plastic waste and we're converting it into 3D printer filament.
Most schools already have programs in place using 3D printers, so it just seems like it's the best opportunity to provide them with filament that they're already purchasing. I believe that any plastic has potential to be turned into filament. It's going to take time to research it and understand the material properties. We want to provide a product that a home user can take their own trash and convert it into something useful.
What drives me is the ability to empower individuals, whether it's a business or it's using 3D printing to create something that's yours. Instead of being a consumer, I want to encourage people to be producers, engineers, and creators. Hi, I'm Tito Emmanuel Orji.
I'm Jason Lear.
And we are Trimatis, an eco-technology company that takes plastic waste and converts it into 3D printer filament. Picture this. Every minute, the equivalent of one garbage truck filled with plastic waste is dumped into our oceans. Plastic products are part of our daily lives. Think about it. How many plastic products do you use in a single day? Grocery bags, food containers, plastic bottles. The world loves plastic. Here at TriMatis, we love plastic. We love plastic so much that we created a patent-pending technology that takes plastic waste and turns it into 3D printer filament, which is the raw source material for 3D printing. Currently, the 3D printer filament market stands at $500 million and is looking to grow to $1.8 billion by 2023. We look to capitalize on this growth. My colleague Jason and Dr. Scanlon have been doing research for over a year now on how to utilize plastic waste in the 3D printing process. With their experience with 3D printing and my experience with the collection of plastic waste through nonprofits, we came together to come up with a solution for the problem of plastic pollution. Through our experimentation, we've identified how to properly extrude plastic waste. We focus mainly on PET, which can be found in plastic bottles, but we could apply this to many other recyclable plastics. As we scale up our company, we look to develop our eco-filament and sell it to schools and universities who are already utilizing 3D printing in their curriculum and understand the importance of 3D printing and sustainability. As we grow as a company, we look to develop manufacturing and environmental stewardship jobs for the collection and the processing of the plastic waste. We look to hire a workforce of individuals who may need a second chance, for instance, ex-offenders and homeless veterans. We are here today asking for $20,000, $17,000 of which will be used to purchase the equipment necessary to optimize our manufacturing process, and $3,000 for promotion and marketing of our product. Thank you for your time. We are now open for Q&A.
So I actually have a business in the, we use recycled materials for a product that we make as well. So I'm a little familiar with the industry.
Awesome.
But my question for you is, what is your patent about? What are you protecting? Have you had office action on that patent yet? And what's going to prevent someone else from doing something similar?
So we have a cover sheet provisional patent. This covers the process to make the filament as well as the black box technology, and this was filed through Penn State.
Okay. And so one thing that I know from our industry is you get a wide variety of product coming in through recycle streams, right? So how do you keep your filaments pure or consistent? Is it a very high touch system in order to make sure you have the right plastics for the right filaments?
Yeah, so the key point is to understand the plastic that's going into making the filament has to be of a certain quality. If you have low quality plastic, you're not going to get good filament. So having control over that quality initially will help us.
Have you tested the durability of the filament post-production compared to other off-the-shelf products?
Right now, we're only on a TRL4 stage in the development process. That's something that we're going to be doing as we move along in the development phase.
We have tested our product and made sure that it is working in the lab environment. So we're now looking to optimize it and make it a little bit stronger. And at that point, we'll start the big comparisons of quality. Yeah.
And so you mentioned $3K of the money you're asking to go towards marketing. Can you explain a little bit more what type of marketing you would do?
So on the marketing position, one big thing that's going to be really important with this is creative content. Showing our consumers what their plastic bottles or whatever their plastic recyclables can do for them. So showing them that they can make cufflinks, which I made with Jason, or they can make an iPhone case, and just showing them how simple this process is based off of our technology.
Who is your target customer? You started with universities.
Yes.
Yeah, so talk a little bit about who you're going to sell the filament to, and then how you're going to market to them to buy your filaments.
So our target market right now is schools and universities. We know this market the best as students, and our CEO is actually a PhD holder in material science and a professor. So she's been doing a lot of STEM content to local communities around our area.
So they'll initially be buying the filament and then potentially the machines over time as well.
Right, yeah, correct.
How many bottles does it take to produce a spool?
So the average weight for one bottle is about 12.7 grams. This comes out to be about 79 bottles per 1 kilogram spool.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I think they need to alter their long-term strategy.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. I don't see consumers putting something in their home to do this.
You'd be surprised, 3D printing is become more and more popular.
I'm fascinated by what they're talking about relative to consumers using their own bottles to make different things. Yeah. So that's to me the longer term part of this project, which is kind of intriguing to me.
Seemed like they liked it.
Yeah, and it also helped that one of the judges was familiar with recycling and also used recycling products in their business. So more of the questions were pitched to how we were going to use the recycling products. So it was good that they understood it.
Our fourth team is Sponsor You.
My name is Jimmy Aversa. I'm a corporate innovation and entrepreneurship major. When a kid my age wants to go to school, most people have to take out an insane amount of loan debt. When you're 18, you don't have a feel for what this debt is actually gonna do to you financial pressure-wise in the future. Sponsor You is basically a niche social media platform built to curb some of that excessive student loan debt that kids essentially get into before they even know what they're doing. Winning the InQ competition would mean a great deal for myself and my company. That would allow us to devote all of our energy into Sponsor You so that it's generating revenue. And right now would be an ideal time to get that injection of funds because we're launching. We want that boost right off the bat for our marketing scheme, our design, our development. I'd like Sponsor You to generate millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars in loan repayment for students. I want the number to make a serious dent in the $1.2 trillion of total United States student loan debt. Maybe that's a little bit unrealistic. I like to shoot for the stars. I expect Sponsor You to be a multi-billion-dollar company in a multi-billion-dollar industry that is tackling a huge economic and social concern. Hi, my name is Jimmy Aversa. I'm an innovation and entrepreneurship major at Penn State University and a founder of Sponsor You. Our web application gives charitable people the opportunity to make direct payments towards any student's loan debt of their choosing. Young adults today are pushing back core life activities like starting a family, building a home, buying a car, because of the massive debt obligations they believe they have to take on early in life. On our site, students outline their vision for their academic, career, and life success in hope of providing sponsors a holistic preview of the types of students they have the chance to make an impact on. Sponsors can search for students based on criteria like school, hometown, major, career, and other interests, and upon sponsorship, start getting real-time updates on that student's academic performance. Monthly sponsorship payments can be terminated at any time. So if students aren't meeting their sponsors' expectations, they risk losing sponsorship. We have 4 primary stakeholders involved in our day-to-day operations. As mentioned, students and sponsors. Then we have our loan service providers to whom we make payments on behalf of our students. And then finally, we have the higher education institutions that our students attend, from which we verify their enrollment and their academic performance. Our revenue stream starts with our $5 per month student subscription fee, where students are not even charged until they receive their first sponsor. Our founding team, Chris Rubitsky, a serial entrepreneur with more than 20 years experience in the student loan industry. Myself and Leo Skoronsky, 2 student entrepreneurs facing our own student loan debt and trying to help others do the same. We're scheduled to launch our minimum viable product about 2 weeks from today, meaning we have the opportunity to start generating revenue and acquiring real customer feedback right away. We are asking for the full $30,000 in funding, 60% of which approximately will go towards continued feature improvement and scalability of our application, and then the remaining amount will allow us to launch an incredible SEM and SEO campaign that will put us front and center in the eyes of our target market. We expect these funds to sustain our operations for an additional 4 months after launch in 2 weeks, which would give us ample time to generate revenue before we have to go through our first round of funding. Inspired by philanthropy, guided by wisdom, driven by technology, the future of education is here. Sponsor You.
So Jimmy, what's the go-to-market strategy? How do you get the word out? How do you get this to the market?
So there are a few different things we're going to do. So in general, we're targeting active students with loan debt. So that there's about 15 million, projected to be 15 million active students with loan debt in 2018. But then we also have 3 profile boosting categories. So one being our star students who meet certain academic criteria that we'd push out to corporate recruiters so that they can start developing relationships really early in their academic career. The next is Division III athletics. So Division III athletes don't really have the opportunity to receive scholarships like Division I and II athletes do from the NCAA. That would be a way to boost them and get them sponsorship right away, like a no-brainer. And then finally, our last profile boosting category is economically disadvantaged students who come in, and then people who really want to make a philanthropic impact on their lives as individuals and get to know them would be able to do that.
But what about when I'm talking about the market, the people that are funding, right? Not the recipients. You're talking about, so how do you get to, one way is through the Division III coaches you talked about, but what else can you do in that arena to get a broader scope?
So we are not a charity on our own, but we are a platform for which charitable action takes place. One of the most rewarding parts of any charitable action is the ability to see your results right away and make an impact on an individual, and that's exactly what Sponsor You is aiming to do.
So you were talking about the students themselves paying a monthly fee. What is your, because you said you're not a charity, so what is your model for making money on this?
So we have 3 subscription packages. One is $5 per month, can be canceled on a month-by-month basis. Next is $27.50 for 6 months, and then $50 for the full year. So students are not, the reason we do it that way is because we want sponsors' donations to go directly towards the student loan debt and not be watered down at all. And then students are not charged their subscription fee for using our site until they receive their first sponsor. And the minimum payment for a sponsor would be $5 per month.
How much money do you really think you're going to need to ramp up the company in order to secure all of that and become profitable?
Sure. So our first round of funding, we're looking to raise anywhere from $200,000 to $250,000. We're projecting our expenses on like a 12-month horizon to be around $1.1 million between marketing, sales, development, and operations.
So how do you plan to differentiate from the traditional scholarship model that institutions already have set up in their infrastructure?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the biggest difference for us is that when you're sponsoring a student, one, you get to build a relationship with that student that you're sponsoring. You actually get to know them and see where your money's going on a day-to-day basis. By the way, it goes directly towards their student loan debt, so you're not giving it to the student to use on their loan debt. It's going right there. More importantly, when your payments can be terminated on a monthly basis, so if you're interested in mentoring and building a relationship with your students, you can leverage your payments into students performing to a certain expectation. So you could really push those students forward and be drivers of their success in the future. And if the students aren't holding up their end of the bargain, or you're not in the type of relationship that you would want as a mentor, you can stop sponsorship and go sponsor someone else.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
He's going up against all of the scholarship dollars institutions are trying to raise towards their fundraising goals, which is going to be a huge roadblock.
Did I hear him say they're ready to launch something in 2 weeks? That was the Division III one, and yet he was saying that there's still a lot of questions with the NCAA.
But I'm curious about the matching and some of the more complex components of the application, if that will work right out of the gate.
I think it went really well. I got a lot of my key points out there. I think I was articulate enough, and the judges seemed like they were responding well. The questions they asked me were spot on, and I felt like I was ready to answer them.
Our 5th team is Steer Logic.
I'm Olivia Shribniak.
My name is Anthony Geik, and we're both pursuing the electromechanical engineering technology degree here at Penn State, New Kensington.
I love riding horses. It's always been part of my life ever since I was little. I'm into team roping, and that is where you have 2 people roping 1 steer. It's an actual rodeo event, and the first person coming out of the chute is the header. They rope the horns of the cow, and then the second person coming out is the heeler, and they rope the back legs. That's what I do. And it's just a timed event. Once they're both roped, time is called. When practicing, right now you can use a stationary dummy sled. You can pull by an ATV, or you can rope on live cows, which there's a lot of room for error in that.
Our Steer Logic design is revolutionary in the team roping practices that it will be the first dummy to allow the header and heeler to practice as a team as they would be competing in a real-life event. The money for us, it means that a chance to get to market and get our idea out there and show people our revolutionary project.
If we won the money from the competition, we would definitely put it into the fabrication, the manufacturing process, that we can make more of these dummies and get them out on the market and for sale, so we could start helping teams out there. I hope that Steer Logic will bring more people into the world of team roping and also make practice more efficient and affordable for people out there.
Hi, I'm Anthony Geik.
And I'm Olivia Shribniak, and we're Steer Logic, the automated team roping dummy. Team roping is a rodeo event where horses and their riders compete in pairs to rope the horns and rear legs of a steer in the fastest time possible. I started team roping when I was 16 years old, and I struggled learning how to team rope because It's very expensive to maintain live roping steers, and current dummies on the market do not provide sufficient training. So in a sense, you're practicing one person at a time for a team event, which doesn't really make sense. Steer Logic is an automated team roping dummy that provides practice for the header and heeler together. Whenever the header ropes it, it will come unattached from the sled, and then the heeler can rope the back legs, which has 3 different modes to provide them with lifelike training.
We have 2 customer targets in mind. One is the individual and the other is corporate. For corporate, that means rodeo schools and clinics, and also retreats such as dude ranches. For the individual, we actually have 5 customers on the waiting list. This niche market has 35,000 carded team ropers, which only roughly equates to 30% of the total market within the United States. On a broader spectrum, this number does not include separate team roping events or jackpot ropings. For the past 5 months, we have been building and testing our prototype, and are scheduled to have testing done by the end of this month. Also, we have recently filed our provisional patent. Current competitive products in the market sell for an average of $4,000. We plan to sell ours for $6,000. The reason being is that no other dummy on the market allows both the header and heeler to train and practice together, nor do any of the products train the heeler utilizing lifelike movements. We are asking for $15,000. $11,000 will be used for building the first 5 units, and the remaining $4,000 will be used to file the design patent and for any necessary upgrades. You say practice makes perfect, we say Steer Logic makes practice. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. It was very interesting to read about this industry and how big it actually is, and I would love to hear a little bit more around, as you guys scale, what are the costs per unit that you're creating, and how many do you think you could sell within your first year of production?
Right now, the prototype we built for our senior project, the total cost was right above $2,100. So that's why we're asking for $11,000 to build the first 5 units, and we have 5 customers on the waiting list already.
So do you know how many of your competitor products are sold every year?
Yes, one of the top leading competitors is Heliomatic, and every month they said that they sell anywhere from 30 to 90.
What are your plans around customer support and the wear and tear on the products and piece replacements?
We also will have like the horn wraps, for example, or is how it unlatches from the tow vehicle whenever the header ropes it. And we'll supply like backup ones for the first so many years, and then after that they'll be at cost to the customer, and we'll also have a warranty on it for the first 2 years.
So you mentioned your competitor is selling 30 to 90 a month.
Mm-hmm.
What is your break-even analysis? How many do you feel like you need to sell a month to get to break-even for your company?
You say 10?
10.
We estimate around 10 units a month.
Okay.
For us.
Any concerns about liability with this product?
With all the other products like this that are out there, when you sign the terms of service, it's on you, no matter what happens.
And from a marketing side of things, what are some of the initiatives or marketing plans that you have in place to spread the word about your company?
The good thing about this market is the team roping community, everybody knows each other, so it spreads by word really easily.
So if you would go to an event such as that and set up a booth, and it would just be 1 month long, everyone would know about you, and the word just spreads from there.
So can you talk a little bit more about your provisional patent? What is different about your product that you're patenting compared to competitors?
Our biggest difference is the 3 individual modes for novice, intermediate, and advanced level ropers, and also the detach mechanism, which is on the front of the dummy. You see right there the little hook and pin. No other dummy on the market can detach from this tow vehicle and allow both
the header and heeler to practice together. Right now, the practice is individually, and then when you go out in real life, that's when you do it together as a team.
But if the detach is part of your patent, you're saying your next evolution, you wouldn't have it towed, right?
Yeah.
So would you patent a different device at that point? Is that what you have in mind?
We have that, but we also have the rear leg movements to provide more of a lifelike training for the heeler, which no other dummy has. There are some out there, but they break down and they're not rugged, so nobody purchases them.
Okay.
Great, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I like the fact that they're saying they only need 10 of these to get to break even, if that's accurate.
They've thought through their business model, which is really obvious.
It's interesting. The market's the only thing.
Yeah.
If the competitors are selling, what they say, 60 to 90 per month.
Yep.
If, as a new kid on the block, it's more robust.
Mm-hmm.
They seem very interested in our product, so.
Yeah, they asked a lot of good questions, and it seemed like they got the idea of what the sport is, and they understood it.
Our sixth team is Hemogo.
I'm Chevy. I'm majoring in biology at Penn State University Park. I've always had a love for science. It fascinates me. And what you can create with it is endless. And what I see in Hemogo is we can further science and we can improve the world. The reason I started Hemogo and the reason I'm very passionate for it is because I was shadowing physicians at Mass General Hospital. And I realized people would have blood work done once they were feeling sick, and then they need to go through extensive treatment because usually the disease was caught too late. So that is our overall mission at Hemogo, is to catch disease early. Hemogo is a smartphone blood testing application comprised of test strips, a special case, and your phone. And from all of that, we can do blood testing from remote locations, like your house, or all the way to rural locations in sub-Saharan Africa. And that is important because now your physician can monitor your health and catch things quicker.
Go through here, and then you can go here. And the white blood cells are still going here.
The money would be life-changing for the company because now we can accelerate everything. We can accelerate our bring to market because now we can get our FDA trials done faster. And that means more people will be helped because we can get this to the developing world quicker, and they need this. So it would be amazing if we won the prize money. Health is a fundamental thing, and not everyone has access to it. And with science, we can use these tools and we can create amazing things that can really change the world.
So I'm Chevy, I'm the CEO of Hemogo.
I'm James Frazier, I'm the CTO.
Hemogo is a smartphone application that gives the ability for users to do a CBC from their smartphone. We have the potential to disrupt the way a CBC is done, much like at-home diabetes testing has. In the summer of 2012, my grandfather was diagnosed with lung cancer, and every week I had to take him to have his CBC done. I realized it's time-consuming, time my grandfather could have spent with his grandkids like me. It is inconvenient because my grandfather, who's immunocompromised, had no reason to go to an outpatient clinic where there's even more germs. And lastly, it is expensive. To solve this problem, we came up with Hemogo, a smartphone application where users can have a CBC done from their smartphone. Users paying a subscription or a one-time fee will have access to our patent-pending technology. Very simply, you prick your finger, you place a drop of blood onto our Hemogo test strips, you insert the test strips and your smartphone into our Hemogo case, and then open our application, which James will now explain.
Currently, we have a working iOS application. However, we plan on moving over to React Native, so we have a cross-platform Android application. Now, because of the nature of our business, we're going to be handling personal health information, and because of this, we need to be HIPAA compliant. Currently, we're using Amazon Web Services as our backend, which is a HIPAA compliant service. Additionally, in order to use the application, you need to authenticate into it using a fingerprint or a passcode. Now, once the case captures the blood sample is uploaded to the cloud where it's processed using machine learning. And after only 30 seconds, the CBC is returned to the user. And additionally, we upload that CBC to the user's electronic medical record where it can be analyzed by a physician.
Our first target market are cancer patients like my grandfather, 1.6 million people annually, and cancer survivors, 15.4 million people in the United States. However, there's so much more application. ALS patients, advanced life support patients in the ambulance, outpatient procedure patients, small clinics that can't afford expensive hemoanalyzers. Our current competitors are plug-in devices that are at home, but they are not FDA approved, and our patent-pending technology is much faster and affordable. Since beginning in May of 2017, we have a working application. We're about done prototyping our strips and our case. We're in the Happy Valley Launchbox Accelerator Program. We're in the Edmond Optics Startup Program. We're also in the Summer Founders Program. In addition, we have an FDA advisory board that is guiding us on our 510(k) submission to the FDA. And today we're asking for $20,000 in order to complete our clinical trials this summer, bring on graphic designers and front-end developers to complete the UI of our application, and lastly, bring on a security specialist to ensure the data of our users is protected. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. So how do you see yourself going about targeting just cancer patients? I mean, how will that work that you can, again, with HIPAA and all the privacy around health data, how will you go about doing that?
So we're actually going to be, our go-to-market plan is partnering with hospitals because they have those network of cancer patients and they're all HIPAA qualified. So we can go to physicians like traditional pharmaceutical companies and we can gain the trust of those physicians. We can show them our results and then they can tell their patients because we're sending the results to the physician and the physician can monitor that patient each time they do a test. What's really cool about what we're doing is when you do a CBC usually, you do it every year the normal person, but that's not enough to get a baseline, because your blood is reacting to the environment. So what we're doing is we're creating a true baseline because you'll be doing this more often.
What about the accuracy?
Yeah, so with machine learning, the more pictures you have in your database, the more accurate it is. With our database right now, with our pictures we've taken in the lab, it's 92%, but the more pictures you have in there, the more accurate it is. That's machine learning.
So talk to me about how the physician works with your product. So if the patient is putting the reports in, how are they getting the reports? Are they on a...
So yeah, we've talked to existing electronic medical record systems like Epic. Basically how it works is the hospitals, once they see an increased number of patients are using it, they let us put an API into their electronic medical record system. So basically they have a bunch of tabs. There'll be a Hemogo tab, and then we provide the full results to the physician, and they'll get alerted if something's up.
But then how much are you selling the strips in the package for?
So we're going to do a subscription model. So users that are going to use this more often, like the chemotherapy patients, we'd actually send them 10 free strips because we can profit off that off the subscription. But also, so clinical research is huge, and we can sell the data to clinical researchers that can bring up new drugs with this. So the data is very valuable, and we plan on putting that to good use for science.
So how do you get this into the consumer's hands?
So we can do that with our second batch. If we want to do over-the-counter testing, we'll put it right into the consumer's hands. But we really plan on doing that through the physician because the patients really trust the physicians. But also we learned that they really trust their caregivers too. So we can put it in the hands of caregivers and physicians and the hospital networks because the hospital networks have all the patients. They have all the consumers.
So I'm still not clear on the revenue model, though. You were talking about giving a bunch of stuff away. So what do you charge for, how much, and do you believe it'll be reimbursable at some point?
So reimbursable, when you need to have a diabetes, like the insulin, the glucometer, it's the insurance covers it if you're prescribed it. So if you're prescribed a CBC, it'll be reimbursable. But we were planning to charge $9.99 a month, but we're not complete on that. People have told us they would pay $60 a month if they could spend time with their grandchildren instead of going out to a clinic. So we're still deciding on that, but basically how we're going to make money is if you're paying a one-time fee, you have to pay for the case and the strips. But if you're a subscription user, we will send you 10 strips every month. You only need the case once, and then one way is to sell the data, but for clinical research, where it can be put to good use.
Great, thank you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I just like overall that they're really well educated. They know about the HIPAA part. They know about the reimbursement.
I get my blood tested every 6 months.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that would apply to me, but I would love to be able to just do my own. Oh, yeah, just do my own.
I felt confident in our performance. I think we really got the point across about our product, and that if we got the money, it would really change the company.
I think it went great. We were expecting more questions about security. However, I reiterate that we're using products that are HIPAA compliant, and also that we're looking for people to help us with security. So I think they got the point that we're very concerned about potential customer security when it comes to using their app.
The teams have made their pitches. The judges have asked their questions. Now it's time for them to deliberate and decide which teams have done enough to earn the funds to make their idea a reality.
Yeah, I mean, I think it seems like a big and growing market at this point.
And there's a lot of opportunity for very loyal customers once you've created kind of a great brand in that industry, and the way it can really go viral throughout.
He has a passion for this. This is what he wants his vocation to be.
And the thing for me is the level of expertise of the people that he's selling to are guys like him. Would they think they can just go to that same outlet PC, get the same components, build it themselves?
And he was only asking for about $10K, which can be really challenging. You want to use that for marketing, and one conference sponsorship is going to eat up $10K real quick.
He seems a little early to me in terms of where his development is. It seems like that was a prototype and he needs a lot more work.
Without testing first and really understanding the reliability before putting it in potential customers' hands, it can really harm the brand that he's trying to build right off the bat.
I feel like there needs to be more development around that side too, if you're going to make it a premium product, which it is.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously believes in what he's doing, he's passionate about it, and has the wherewithal, I think, to sustain the things that he has to do to be successful.
Anything recycled today, anything sustainable, like there's always a market for that sort of things.
He's done a lot of work ahead of time too. I went out and looked at his website. He's developed a couple prototypes. He was wearing a pair of them.
Right now it's more about being able to execute that idea, get the costs in line, and then be able to really sell a premium product at good quality, you know?
And the social responsibility element of it will be great for just them in a model that a new generation can really relate to when wanting to buy products like this.
And I was intrigued also by the fact that they were talking product short-term and process long-term.
As far as concerns go, and I think I mentioned, so I'm in the recycle business to some degree, and there is a lot of time and cost in the collection side of it.
When you think about all the cities that invest so much of city resources into trying to sort and get rid of these materials and the process amount of energy that goes into it, you know, a company like this coming in to be able to take that recycled material off the hands of those different departments could be a huge opportunity where they're getting it at really low costs to just turn around and generate it into something really great.
They were talking about working on a patent or having a patent pending. My question is, like, how unique, how protectable is that to prevent anybody from using recycled material to create, 3D printing, raw material?
We was trying to find a way to really attack that debt problem that so many students are facing, but do it in a way that makes money. That's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Well, and on the positive side, it's a massive, massive market, right? If you can tap into that market, is a huge market. I mean, overall, it's just a great idea in terms of being able to get sponsors to help pay for education.
It's a significant effort to undertake to go through with a lot of things, but it was somebody who put themselves through school and had loans and did all that stuff. I welcome the ingenuity to try to help that arena. And I like the one-to-one relationship that you get as if you're a sponsor, you actually get to know the person that you're sponsoring an individual.
If you're not putting in scholarship dollars, how is it taxed to you as somebody who's sponsoring a student?
To be able to coordinate this kind of thing with universities, it just seems like it would be an uphill battle.
This one I thought was really interesting. They're both very clearly passionate about what they're doing. And it was interesting to learn more about the sport and kind of how it's grown.
So the issue for me was on the cost side. This is higher cost than what's available today.
The biggest thing I think about is this is like super, super niche, right?
Oh yeah, Very targeted.
You've got established competitors in the market. So what is really the potential for these guys?
What's intriguing is kind of perfecting the prototype too. They had thought about the next generation, what that would look like, and when you think about some of the artificial intelligence and things that are coming out, I mean, could they almost get to a place where they're mimicking, a real steer? She certainly knew the answer on the liability piece too. Because if you
push it all on,
get some of the amateurs out there trying to do it, it would be a little scary.
And there's huge opportunity too with all the schools that she had mentioned too to offer and do partnerships where people are just learning and practicing on that, where that becomes a sport that you want to go into. It does have good exit potential though to some of these bigger players in the market that are selling things that are similar, where they might see that technology and
want to buy it.
Yeah, there's a lot of applicability to a lot of different audiences. I know he said that they'd start with cancer patients, but diabetes.
How far can you go with the blood test? That's one of the questions I want to. How far can you take that?
Yeah, even from the technology side of things, like the integrations they would have to do to the university and hospital systems, down to the costs that they're going to do with mobile and trying to expand from just Android to iOS using React Native, which will allow them to really reduce the development costs on front end.
And everybody says we're going to own and sell the data, but you very rarely see, okay, who's your buyer? How much can you sell the data for, right? So I just feel like, I think it's all good opportunity. I just think it needs further developed and really put into a good financial model.
Yeah, I wish they asked for more than the 20K.
Yeah.
Because they're definitely going to need more than 20K.
Yeah.
I did like the fact that they're working with Hershey, though, and that they're using validation with like leftover samples and that sort of thing, so that's good. Yeah, I thought that they were super knowledgeable on the HIPAA issues, on what it would take for FDA. And for a younger team, like, you wouldn't expect them to have thought through all of that stuff quite as well as they had. So I felt like they were really prepared on some of the things that investors are going to ask them about.
The judges have deliberated. Their decisions are made. Now the teams will find out who will receive money to fund their company.
So now on to the fun part, the announcement of the winners. We decided to change things up a little bit this year. We know a couple of us on the panel here of judges, we have started companies ourselves and know how hard it is to get things up and running and the amount of capital that needs to go in. And you always have to be running fast and making quick decisions and scaling your business as quickly as you can to really show that product market fit and really work out all the kinks along the way. So we wanted to really pick one company that was going to get the full $30,000 and really be able to take that to the next level. Running a business is very costly, between the legal fees and the everyday expenses. We want to make sure this could be really meaningful to a company here today to really help get you to the next level. This was really hard to pick because we thought there were a lot of great ideas out here. We actually struggled between the top two choices that we ended up going with, but we're excited to be awarding the money to one of the companies that we thought presented really, really well and also had a great plan in place for how they were going to run with this and take it to the next level. And so the winner of the $30,000 is Himogo.
We're really honored.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
You guys made it tough.
We're really gonna, like you mentioned, we're really going to need it with the regulation because
our acceleration plan just went through the roof.
It was a very difficult decision. There were several of the companies that we felt had done a really good job, had great ideas, had thought the ideas through, had identified their target markets and customers, had thought through how they were going to scale it. So they had done a lot of prep work, and so to narrow it down to one was very difficult.
We felt like we saw 6 really great ideas and potential companies there. We really talked about the process first, and we decided that we wanted to make it a more meaningful investment by picking a single winner as opposed to multiple.
We were in between two, but we thought that the company we chose was the one that was the most ready to take the next steps and also had the biggest potential for follow-on funding. And we hope that they're able to leverage that $30,000 into an even bigger investment to take it all the way.
Splitting the money up for us, and most of us felt it would be kind of like diluting the effect of that. So focusing in on one organization to win that, Himogo seemed to have the most advanced process of where they need to be and also the biggest need of funding to take them to the next step.
The competition was intense. The judges were thorough, and for the first time ever, one of our teams managed to win the entire prize pool. Congratulations to the winning team. These student entrepreneurs leave with the money to jumpstart this emerging company. For the other teams, it is time to reposition for the next pitch and refine their company's approach. Thank you for joining us for The Investment. Prize money for The Investment was provided by Invent Penn State, Penn State College of Engineering, and Ben Franklin Technology Partnership of Central and Northern Pennsylvania.